Management, Enterprise Portfolio Management, Program and PMO Consulting. He is an ambassador of DevOps Institute USA and is part of ITIL4 Development Group and a member of the ATO Working Group Asia for Excelos. He is the CEO of Excelentro Consulting Services LLP India and Excelentro PTE Limited Singapore, and the chief organizer of the largest DevOps conference in India, that is the DevOps India Summit 2019. And today he's going to share his insights and views on service management and DevOps in cloud environment. Yes, you guessed it right. Without much further ado, please put your hands together and help me welcome Dr. Niladri Chaudhary.
Can you hear? Yes. Okay. So my topic is service management and DevOps in the cloud environment. How many are from the operations side? Oh, nice. That's good. So how many are practicing DevOps? All of you from the operations side? No, the hands went down, except a couple of them. Okay. Okay, so here we are. We'll quickly, I'll not go through the values and principles in details, just mention it to give the background. So if you look at it, there are 5 values of DevOps, which is comes, which you must be hearing from the morning: culture, automation, lean, measurement, and sharing. So I am not going into it. You have heard enough of it. And there are 3 principles. The first way is about improving the flow. And if what you have also seen the keynote speakers and other speakers talking about is the flow is end-to-end. The flow is not only in development. Not that I take something, throw it out on the other side of the wall and I'm done. Not that. It's a complete end-to-end flow from the time a change is requested till the time the change is deployed and managed. Second way, shift left. That is, have shorter feedback loop. Phoenix project. Morning I saw very few hands came out saying that they have read through the Phoenix project or not. It's a nice read, actually. Third way, so we want the feedback to come, not understanding, like Gary Grover said, that after like 6 weeks getting 60% of or 4 weeks getting the 60% of the problems. No, we want, I have delivered today, I need that feedback today. That's the second thing. And third is experimentation and learning. So we are talking about DevOps where it's a journey where we embark about experimenting and learning every day. So these are the 3 things, and that is not only applicable for the development, but also for operations. Any heard of a person called Kripa Krishnan? Anyone? Anyone wants to take that role? She's in Google. So one of the work she does is time to time go to the data centers with a team of people, put fire in the data center physically, actually, and break the servers physically. And while the team is looking at it and making sure not a single search fails across the world. So how many of you are going to try it tomorrow? Anyone at least interested in doing that? Oh, that's nice. So 2 hands that came up from the front is from development guys, and 1 hand only from the operations person. So these are the 3 principles. We have to learn from our mistakes, and then only that's an investment where we know that next time if something fails, it will not call you from your vacation or from your party on the 31st night to come to office and start taking care of it. Right? So, IT is a system of systems. It's not a simple thing. There is your agile scenario, there is your scenario where you have the waterfall model, There is continuous delivery, there is projects, long, big projects, which the customer requests today and you deliver after 3 years. Customer has even forgotten why they had asked for it. So all those are there. And finally, you also have the new things like the site reliability engineers, your continuous operations. We need to look at the word continuous operation. We have been talking about continuous delivery and continuous integration and continuous testing. Today morning, we also heard continuous security. So where is the operations? Continuous operation, if that is not there, what is the time frame it takes from the time you requested, not the ones in cloud, from the time you requested for a server and the server was delivered to you? How long? 6 to 8 weeks. So you want to deliver 82,000 releases per day where, say, 10% of it requires new servers and you are going to deliver after 6 weeks. Does it work? No. And it's not only about IT, it's not only about operations, it's about the whole organization. So everybody has to work together. We need to understand that operations work is also changing. And we have to be ready for it. So the other aspect that we need to look at is the project versus product approach. So people are no longer looking at large projects, but people are looking at products. I have a customer who is a bank. So what they have done is they have even changed their funding. So there will be a theoretically overall yearly budget, but what is handed over is continuous funding. So every 2 months or 3 months is the maximum time they are giving. No longer $5 million budget, but $25,000 budget. You take that budget, deliver what is required, finish it off, that's it. Take the next one. So we need to deliver that to make those changes. So the cadence, the flow is different. Now it's not that from the idea it is 6 months to get a project to start, not another 12 months, 18 months or 24 months to deliver the project by the time people have forgotten about what they had asked for. So Gartner says that 70% of the project are not aligned to the strategic business objectives. So that is because one of the major reason is it is delivered at a time when we have already forgotten for what it was. Remember last year, I think, is when the GST came, right? And people who are into software which is with transactions, we needed to have the GST implemented on 1st of August. Can you, from your side, say that no, we cannot do it now, we'll do it end of December? No. So we need to now deliver smaller pieces, faster and continuously. So your operations also has to be ready to do that. Not deliver a server after 6 weeks. So the work has changed for operations. And one of the points that came up, we will talk about it. I have taken a few slides from the State of DevOps Report 2019. Anyone has seen State of DevOps Report 2019? One of you, 2 of you, 3, great. So State of DevOps Report 2019 came out last week, so you can look at it. So they have put this figures, which is for the elite performers. It's still showing that you have 208 times more delivery. There is 106 times faster, 2,604 times faster, and 7 times lower. So we are still seeing significant amount of improvement among the organizations which is practicing DevOps. This is what they are talking about. So here, this SDO is the software delivery and operations performance. So what has come up in 2019 is the inclusion of operations in a much bigger way. So if you have to deliver, the elite organizations which are delivering faster have been practicing DevOps even in operations. And this brings to the next point, which is service operation availability and time to restore are 2 critical metrics that they are measuring. MTTR. So we are talking about mean time to recover. Why is that important? Today's CIOs are not looked at for reducing costs. They are looked at to increase business. And how does a CIO increase business? Giving reliability. Optimizing usage. So let's take a simple example. We all use Make My Trip or Go IBIBO or something. There are thousands of, or I think lakhs of transactions which happens every minute throughout the world, right? And if we say that on an average there is a 10,000 rupees transaction that happens, see the amount of transaction that happens in 1 minute. And in a year, how much of minutes we have? 5,26,000. 2% of that is around 11,000, right? So 11,000 minutes into lakhs of rupees. That is the amount if you have a 98% availability. But if you make it 99% availability, you reduce 5,000 minutes, which is multiplied by that lakhs is how much? So now you see how the thought process is changed, right? So we need to look at availability. We need to look at time to restore. So these are new metrics. One of the major things that has come out is, and today I think Topo Protopol also mentioned in the morning, it's about the change management. It's the biggest pain area in the whole process. And that's where there is a change. We need to also get into a situation where we can accommodate faster changes, faster releases. We cannot go for a CAB, a change advisory board, like what we had seen in ITIL earlier, right? There are some cases where there are big projects required. Their change advisory board is good. And that's why in ITIL 4 you see that change advisory board is no longer mandatory. It has become an option. So in your smaller changes, every sprint you don't have to wait for a change advisory board. You can do it with delegating the responsibility to the right place and let them do it the way that they have to. Change management needs to be tuned to facilitate continuous delivery. So we have to have faster change management process. We have to adapt to this new way. We cannot have the same process and go on doing it for delivering faster. But at the same time, change management is required. We cannot bypass it because that's a risk issue. We need to take care of the risks. Implementation of segregation of duty, that's the main reason for change management, right? We want to make sure that the risk is taken care of. We have understood what is there. And that's where automation comes in. You get into things like version control products. You use infrastructure as code. So one of the ways that we do in DevOps is nobody is allowed to make any physical contact with any of the servers. Any change to anything has to be done only through code. It's not like Divya comes from home after a fight with her husband. Divya is sitting here, so with a fight with her husband, so whatever she does today, everything, there is a mistake. Or my wife is also sitting here, so she gives me good food in the breakfast, so whatever I do today is very good, right? So we can do that. But when you have a code, these factors doesn't play anything. So everything is as a code. What it runs once, it will deliver the same thing hundreds of thousands of times that you run it. So we use infrastructure as code. I've already spoken about the CAB becomes more strategic. So they are trying to help teams to implement capabilities that improve performance by guidance and resource. This is from the State of DevOps Report 2019. weigh important business decisions that requires trade-off or sign-off. So they are now not doing that mundane day-to-day approval of changes. They don't even know what that is about. See how the process has to change? And that's what ITIL 4 is talking about now. This is a very blurred image, but there's a lot of changes to various aspects like service management, DNA, intermediation to more enabling support, accept failures and things like that. I mean, every area, financial management, service level management, service lifecycle management, request fulfillment, asset configuration management, every process, now we want to take it only to the extent that is required to deliver a sprint-oriented scenario. And where required, have that process extended for the amount of risk. It is related to the risk that you need to see and ensure that the process is there. Now, who owns these processes? Service level management, configuration and asset management. Who owns those? Operations. So can we do without operations? So why does operations people say that this is all, DevOps is all developers' work? Yeah? No, it's not. It's also our work. So placing trust on the ITSM staff is important. Developers has to have trust on them. The organization has to have trust on them. You cannot say that, oh, they are always the single point of failure. No, it's not that. What have we done to help them? It is seen that 70% of the information required to deploy comes after the product has been handed over to operations. Is operations supposed to find that 70% of the information? No. We have to do it. People have been talking about testing. Testing, how many times have we tested infrastructure? Do we test infrastructure? Do you have monitoring tools to the development and test environments? The same production monitoring tools in your, do you have it in the test environment? How many has that? That's more important. You need to have that. You need to have a near production environment and get the right feedback even before it goes. Greater reliance on automation. So wherever you can use, you have to use automation, testing. And not testing only applications, testing even the infrastructure, testing even each of your components. How many of you even take handover, sign off, only from the, not only from the customer, but also from operations? Do you take sign off from operations? Very few, right? Why? How are they prepared to handle your change? Do they need information from you? Are you not supposed to do the handover properly? Train them, give them necessary inputs so that they are able to handle it? Do you not need the service desk to look at it? Even before service desk, someday suddenly service desk gets a call saying that I have this problem. Most probably that poor chap doesn't even know that there was an application which got deployed. We are not doing anything like that, right? Shift focus from managing technical components to managing service. So we are again going into the outcome, the overall business. Nobody cares about how many servers you have managed, how many times you have sacrificed your vacation with your family. People cares, is business able to have more transactions? Gary's session also, he mentioned about that you need to see the business outcome. And that is everybody's responsibility. Managing interactions between frameworks and methods. We have great frameworks. We have the methods of doing things in the organizations. We need to keep on improving them through experimentation to ensure we deliver faster, better, happier, and safer. Change, oh, company has this policy. In the last 60 years, we have been following this, so we will follow that. No. You need to change your idle processes also to accommodate that. Right? So I'm going with the ITIL 4 guiding principles here a little bit because it is important to understand that these are the points which is the operations team has to look at, because operations generally goes more with the ITIL framework. So I've taken this. So focus on value. Again, whole DevOps we are talking about value. Keep it simple and practical. Don't have a huge CAB just for the sake of having it. Collaborate and promote visibility. Have cross-functional teams. Break the silos between dev and ops. Start where you are. We saw in that session in the keynotes today, that see where you are today, and then only you know where to go. Progress iteratively with feedback. So we are talking about breaking work into smaller pieces and keep incremental improvements, not try a big bang approach. Change the whole organization tomorrow. Not tomorrow, after the 3 days of holidays, right? Don't go there and, oh, we learned from DOIS 19, so let's change it. Optimize and automate. So a lot of automation is required. So operations needs to start learning about those tools. And finally, think and work holistically, not your portion. You need to understand the end-to-end value stream. And that's why ITIL 4 has service value system. So now they have talked about organization and people, information technology, value streams and processes, partners and suppliers. So earlier we did not have partners and suppliers, that got added. Value stream is more focused. And now you can see how it is merging into the, or fits into the new environment of DevOps. You have the opportunity of the demand, and on the other side, you ultimately deliver outcome, which is your value. And in between, you have the various guiding principles, governance, service value chain practices, and obviously, third way, continual improvement, experimentation and learning. So, general management, service management, technical management, now operations has to look at all of these aspects, not just operations management. And this I just took an example where it shows that how things are when you are using a Microsoft Azure, how it changes the whole landscape. Even when we are having an end-to-end pipeline, CI/CD pipeline, we need information how things are moving in the pipeline as it is, while it is happening. You also saw that lightning talk where you played with the switch, right? Automatic deployment. But we need that complete information till the deployment and also post-deployment. We need to monitor. So testing, monitoring, working together, all those are important, and automation. Now that's how we need to change our way of looking at it, our way of thinking from the operations perspective. And it needs help from both sides. Operations needs to start working with developers. Developers needs to work with operations and have faith on them. Right? Any questions? So the approval is, as I said, the change management is, you don't need to have a cab for everything. If it is a small time, small risk kind of thing, you can, like for example, I mean, even your service desk level, if there is something that needs to be done, can do it. You don't have to go through a cab. And as you saw with some of the sessions, like I think Gopinath's session where you had the level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 support. In DevOps, we try to eliminate that levels of support. There's one consolidated team, you call it by whatever name you want, squad, whatever. That team has every skill set, every they have the capability or empowerment to take decisions. So they do it on their own. If it is something which is impacting a larger thing, then it goes to a higher level of. So you already saw that in State of DevOps Report 2017, they have specifically mentioned about change management and how the elite performers have changed their change management processes to make it more flexible. But it doesn't mean that you don't do it. It doesn't mean that you don't have to look at it at all. It means you have to do it, but at different level, different set of people or skill sets are required to take decisions. Not every time go to a cab after 1 month. Clear? Any other question? Yes. How? How do you bring in the development and operations team together? You are from development or operation? Development. Do you have friends in operation? Or you don't go out with them? Okay. So start doing that first. Okay, so this is something which you have to choose one particular area where the people are more pally and not very aggressive in fighting every time. So get some kind of a team from that, both operations and start doing something in one area and see the result and then start expanding on it. But obviously, blessings of the top management is also required. Yeah, but you cannot just break the silo tomorrow, right?
Yeah, that's why we need the blessing.
You need the blessing, but sometimes for getting the blessing also you need to show something. So that's where you try and find your friends there. Okay? So, I'm done. Thank you. I'm here, so if you have any questions, we can talk.
Thank you, Niladri sir, for your valuable insights. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please remember to go to slido.com to fill in your feedback. We need the feedback, so please, after every session, we have the polls on for 10 minutes. So right now, we have just got done with Niladri sir's presentation. So please go to slido.com with the hashtag DOIS19. Choose the hall as track 2. And please put in your feedback for this session. You'll be having around 5 to 6 questions in the polls tab, so please remember to do that. Because we need feedback after every session. So we need a lot of activity from your side. I know we have been trending a lot on Twitter already, but we need some feedback for all the sessions as well. So please do put in your feedback. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on. Our next speaker for the day comes with 20 plus years of experience in the software industry and currently holds the position of the Director of Technology at Target. He is a transformation leader, building a product engineering culture through a unique immersive experience called as Dojo at Target. And today, he will share some light on building DevOps culture at large enterprise through immersive learning experience.
Yeah, one is coming. Thank you. Next question. So, next question is State of DevOps report, right? 2019. Who is the sponsor there? Yes? Puppet, let me hear. Google.
Please join us on stage. And let's give a big round of applause for him as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah.